Hey Siobhan, I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about you're moving to say UX and that sort of stuff, or even talking about building a portfolio. What a lot of people do these days, and it's extremely easy to do, is get yourself a website, and the website is the portfolio. People go to your website and find out all the bits and pieces about you. It's like a live CV, except that it isn't bet into the kind of limitations of LinkedIn. Um, so I'll just show you. So AWS has this thing called free tiered servers. A server is something that can host code for you. Your code would be your portfolio, and you have a little process there saying that if you come up to this server, which is an IP address or a DNS name, and ask for port 80, this web page would be returned to you. So I created a free tiered T2 micro. So this thing is tiny. It's like it's a 1 gigabyte, 1 gigabyte RAM, 1 gigabyte of like space. It's the smallest machine that Amazon would do. It's for pure development, but it's so small that it doesn't cost anything. But it's powerful enough to run what you need, and it's free for the year. You get a public IP4 address, which is what you need if you want people to go onto your website. So I went along. I went to GitHub, typed in portfolio Flask, and this guy's portfolio jumped up. He built this. It's for people to use and to refactor. And this could be a launching point for you to do your own thing. So I went along and I did this here. It's like literally I just replaced his name with your name. I gave in some details here, so you'll see your name, Siobhan Bags, everywhere. And then you can do things like when you navigate to these different pages, you could give your timeline. These are just samples of what you could do. These are projects he's worked on, which is cool, like a Mindstorm and stuff. So you could you can do anything you want. This is what this guy's reading, and then this is what this guy is writing. So he's got a blog. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's just a space to show off your different things. So if you had UX like designs or projects you worked on that you're working up, you could show them here. And this is really powerful because when you give a CV and you go check out my portfolio here, it's something that people can click on and go to. I have a DNS name registered. It was like a tenner, so it's like really cheap. And it'll last a year. This instance will last a year for free as well. And you can change this to be anything you want. You can put like whatever your imagination can think of. You can put here. You can look for examples of portfolios, take the code and put it here. And taking code and rearranging it is pretty much what people do as full-time engineers. So I wouldn't feel guilty about it. It's par for the course. Everybody reuses everything. And you can have like links to your bits here. I'll just show you what editing this would look like at the very low level, and then you can make it easier on yourself if you do a few more things. So just to start from the start, SSH is this protocol that will give you a remote shell onto another machine. So this is a terminal to take a step back, and I'm going to use a command which is going to take in some arguments, which is one of them here is the key to your server. This here is the user we're going to log in. It's like a delimiter between the username and the IP address is the machine you go to. So what happens here is this guy wakes up, it says here, I want to get to here using this username and this key, let me in. So that gets routed through the internet and we get logged in. And now I'm not on my machine anymore, I'm on that machine. So I was saying if you go into dev portfolio, you're going to see some stuff here. Now this is Linux, so Linux is something you should probably add to your portfolio because you're going to find that in a lot of these IT companies where you want to be somewhat familiar with just getting around at a command line level. So all I did here was log on. This is like log on to the box. And this ls says it's like shorthand for list, so you see what's in your current folder. I changed my folder, which is called change directory or change dir, and I moved to this guy. And I put this here, so that's why I knew what was there. Anyways, in the background, running as the root user, which is like the guy with privileges, like it's like the administrative user. I kicked off a process, this Python app process. Now that's the same as this is the current working directory, and you can see here there is a Python process. This Python process will run a Python process. It'll run a Python process on the machine, which is going to launch a Flask web server, which is happy to return JavaScript, HTML, and CSS payloads to a user when queried. So if I have a quick look at just what's in here, there is, if someone comes knocking on the door here, so we use Flask, it's a library, and it's very quick to set up. You can ignore all of the stuff here, none of it really matters. What does matter is that when someone comes and asks for port, whatever port Flask is running on, in this case it's port 80, which is the default port, it'll go to slash, so you see here, this here is the same as asking for port 80. If I ask for port 80, I get this, but it's a default port, so they don't show it. If I click to set timeline, I'm asking for slash timeline, and then you have a timeline route here. So what this says here is like if someone comes along here and says, I don't have a page I want to go to, I just want you to give me your home or root page or your index page, as they call it. This thing says, okay, someone's come along on port 80 asking for the home page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to render what is in home template. I'm going to pass in this argument into here. This is, so these templates live here in templates, and if you look at home, this is some stuff. So you can see I put in siobhan here. I put in edit, so I'm going to remove my edit and just call it siobhan. I'm going to fix the URL, the LinkedIn URL, because I know I have your LinkedIn here. So this, you'll recognize this stuff. This is divs and whatever. The only thing different about this than what you were used to is that it's using a templating engine, which basically allows you to push it all together. It'd be easier, where you got LinkedIn, siobhan, that's the one I want. Okay. So what I'm doing here is just siobhan K White. Interesting. What's the K for? I don't know. I actually don't know what your middle name is. That's terrible. So what this guy's did here, he's built a link, which is an A tag. He's given it a target of new, which means it'll open up a new tab. It's going to go to this URL, and all he's doing is saying here, put an image in here, and this is what the image is going to be. And then he's applied a class to it, which is title logo, and then there's some CSS loaded up here, which will match to that. So he's using some like third-party CSS called Bootstrap, and there's some Ajax, normalize, min, CSS stuff. So he's using other stuff, but you can add, remove, you can get rid of all this if you wanted. So what I'm going to do is save this, go back to, so this is hot reloaded, so the Flask web server that's running here, this guy, is going to know, did I stop recording? No, I didn't stop recording, okay. The Flask server is going to know, this process that's running is going to go, oh, something that I know about has been edited, I'm going to restart the process. So when you pop back to this thing, you can change this name. You can change all these things. And I think I have to, this is the LinkedIn one here. Let's see what happens. Did I break the link? Oh, maybe I broke it. Okay, let's have a look at it again. Oh, I did break it. See that? I didn't exit gracefully like that. So now, now I need to refresh the page because it has to load new code. I click that, and look, it brings me to Siobhan's webpage with your beautiful face there. Ta-da! Anyways, we can have a session to kind of go through this. You can develop all this stuff locally and push the code to the server, and it saves you using these command line tools. I just wanted to give you an idea of how easy it is to have a website and do stuff, and you can highlight your own set of skills here, which is great. Okay.